which brings us back closer to home. Rob Wright yesterday, our guy, right? Friend of the show, we'll call him, although not that good a friend. I sent him a DM yesterday to see if he wanted to talk and share his side of the story like it's some scandal. Didn't hear back. But I told you I talked to friends of mine around Villanova University about, hey, is there a chance that Rob could go back to Philly? And I was told that Villanova had the resources, a lot of resources, and they also had a need for a point guard. And Rob, who showed incredible moxie all season long and was really the guy you wanted the ball to go to in clutch situations, was very attractive to many schools. Well, it turns out BYU really liked him. And if you remember when Baylor went to play BYU in early February with my boy King McClure on the call, it was King and Chucky Kempf. At that moment in time, King became 100% sold on Rob Wright. That's good King. I can do a pretty good King impression.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at your comment section.
What are they saying? Hold on. Let me finish this thought. So Rob was out playing in Provo, and I think he had like the last 14 points or maybe 14 points in the last 2 minutes. He played out of his mind. Baylor lost. He was the only guy that really wanted to step up in the moment, or that could step up in the moment. And now you've got Rob. Apparently, I look like Chris Broussard because I was saying he was going to Villanova yesterday. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was like, I try not to be like overwhelming about it, but I really thought he was going to Villanova. And, that's why Chris Broussard is on FS1 talking about his cousin. But I want to hit back on BYU. So they got AJ DeMonsta. They got Rob Wright. Richie Saunders might come back. He should come back because he probably won't get drafted. If he does get drafted, it'll be in the second round, and he'll make more money at BYU next year than he will playing in the NBA. Just when you look at contracts.
I did see a question on X. Someone was saying, well, if they're paying Rob Wright so much money and Saunders comes back, do they have the money to then pay him what he's worth, or would he get more money if he transfers?
They do, and that's the scary part about BYU.
The Mormon Church, man.
Scotty, you have church experience. Speak, because that's a question. I was looking for information. Give people some background on how in the hell BYU, and I don't mean to say hell in the same breath as BYU. BYU can now pay Rob Wright close to $4 million, allegedly, 3.5. DeBansta, $7 million.
Yeah.
$7 million. So now you've got a $10 million salary cap. Most of these athletic departments, when they talk about revenue sharing, are only allocating $20 million, right? So BYU is a football team as well. But now we're just talking basketball. So how do they have all this money? And now they got to bring Richie Saunders back, which will probably be 5 or 6.
You can kind of do the math, whether you've worked for religious organizations or not. So let's just take Baylor as an example. Baylor is a Baptist school that is affiliated with the Baptist General Convention of Texas, which is one of between 20 and 30 different Baptist bodies in America, which Baptist as Christians are just one of many flavors and sections of Christianity. So if you took all the Baptists and all their money in the state of Texas, some are giving it to Baptist General Convention of Texas, maybe Baylor University, but some are going to the Southern Baptist, to the American Baptist, to the Cooperative Baptist. Like there's all these different bodies. The thing the Mormons have, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, it's why they have all this resourcing at BYU. They have one church and one university for that church. So every single Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints member gives to the same body, and that same body has one university, which is BYU. So just imagine like the resources Baylor could have if there was just one Baptist denomination and one school for that denomination instead of dozens and dozens and dozens, right?
Yeah.
And just stereotypically, Mormons are even more generous and perhaps more willing to fork over money for their church and their university than most Baptists are. Put all those things together, and it is not hard for BYU to find the NIL money to do this. Like, it's really not a surprise at all.
That I appreciate you saying that, because that makes sense out of it. There's basically one Mormon church where all the Mormons put their money towards,
right?
And that's BYU.
Whereas if you say I'm a Baptist, that can mean And that's one of the criticisms of Baptist actually as a religious people is that could mean 30 different things depending on what part of the country you're in, what your church actually believes or doesn't believe. Mormons, it's all right there.
Well, and that's good because as we know, Rob Wright is a Mormon. Oh, wait, he's not. So this makes less and less sense. I wonder now, and Scotty, bring yourself back up real quick, and then we'll make one comment, and then we'll get to the comments, and then we got Mike Barton coming up to talk about the Masters. Is this peak BYU? And here's what I mean, okay? Because this is as exciting as it's been around that university in a very long time. You've got Kevin Young, who is this brilliant young coach. People might say the most innovative in college basketball right now, and that's because of the way he runs his program. It's like an NBA organization, and that's why these kids are pumped to go there. Plus, they're getting paid. There's so much excitement around the university, as much as you've ever experienced in the basketball team. They just made the Sweet 16. Is it crash and burn from here on? Because it's hard,
bro. It's one of two things. It's crash and burn, or it's they become one of the perennial powers.
Are they going to? That's my point. Are they going to become like UConn?
It's. I mean, here's the question. The real question is, can they translate the hype and money behind basketball to football as well?
Yeah.
Because if so, oh, buddy, that's scary.
Yeah.
That's a program that's already won a national championship in football. That's terrifying if they can do this. I mean, it's either crash and burn or it's new heights, which is scary if you're in the Big 12, like Baylor. I don't know how you compete with that. I mean, Drake Toll went to one.
I was about to say
Drake Toll went to one game at BYU, and he's practically a Cougar now. I don't even think he's a Baylor Bear anymore.
Well, that's the thing about Drake. And he's the guy that could weigh in on this. Could BYU be this next, their football team? This is what I want to say, and then we'll get to the comments. Yeah. I wonder if other coaches and athletic departments around the country are really worried and anxious about the fact that, God, we need some kind of salary cap, because if we don't get it, a school like BYU might be able to blow. I mean, come on, man. AJ DeBansta, Rob Wright. I get Richie Saunders. He kind of fits the mold, but even I remember Jackson Robinson was there with Mark Pope. It's do these guys really subscribe to all the Mormon stuff? And it's fine. I think it's great. They can go there and maybe get some of the good Mormon juju, but they're not first in line. BYU's not at the top of their list if they're not getting paid.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
It's almost you would think it would be the exact opposite fit. Okay, go ahead. Let's get some comments, and we'll get to Murph.
Yeah, so our friend Bear the Truth says BYU hasn't even started getting going. So he's with me. This could be the start of something frightening. He does mention it is the best addition to the Big 12 from a financial perspective, which I agree with.
And the perspective that they play Utah every year. I love the rivalries that we get.
Scotty B says he is sending a hex to BYU athletics. He's upset. I think that they got Rob Wright. Says
Scotty B versus Brigham Young. I'm taking Brigham Young.
Says he's going to get more booze than Donald Sloan. Do you remember I told you that story 2 weeks ago about Donald Sloan in the final seconds of a game in Waco when A&M was here doing an alley-oop to himself off the backboard when A&M was already up? I think that's what Scotty B is referencing here. I love that. And then the comment that made me chuckle as you were starting your BYU comments, you said you reached out to Rob Wright and didn't get a response. Bear the Truth says maybe you should have sent his dad a text instead.
Well, hold on. And do we think that burner account was complete BS now? Because if his dad, so is his dad brilliant? He was literally pump faking and making us think he was going to go to Philly.
Yeah. I do think that was his dad. I don't know why you delete that account when everyone starts chatting back if you're just some random person who knows the family. I do.
All right, we'll be back. Pete Souza Show presented by Slovaceks. We're talking Masters with Mike Barton Jr. Stay with us. We'll be right back.